Happy Wednesday, Ravens. Welcome to this week's edition of ONW Now. I'm Victoria Scarduzio alongside Ryan Atchison.
Today we'll learn about sophomore Abby Rist, as well as teachers Mr. Richardson and Mr. Carter.
We'll also preview winter sports, highlight the recent e-Comm open house, and recap yesterday's theater workshop.
Let's get started.
Next week, Raven Service Club will be hosting the Drive the Germs Away campaign to help ONW stay healthy through the cold season. Students are encouraged to bring boxes of tissues, hand sanitizer, and containers of Clorox wipes.
For every item donated, students will receive a raffle ticket as a chance to win a sports bag filled with healthy giveaways. You can drop off your items in the main and events entrance anytime from Monday through Friday.
Many students here at ONW know Mr. Carter, but for those of us that haven't gotten the opportunity to meet him, we'll take it to Ryan.
And it's the labeling of the quantities.
From teaching math to his students, to instructing percussion for the ONW band, Mr. Carter's always dreamt of teaching, but not the way he expected to.
I always thought I'd be a band director growing up, so I went to KU to get my degree in music education. But while I was there, I switched to math, and I got my degree in mathematics and my certification to teach, so I could become a math teacher.
While he attended KU, Mr. Carter got involved with one of the things he loves the most, including being nationally recognized.
Oh, you never know when you're on TV, when you're part of the pep band.
Here we are. That's Chris Carter, the drummer. He's a senior drummer here for the pep band. And folks, he gets into it as much as any drummer here in the conference. Go get it, Chris.
Even though Mr. Carter has been where some haven't, the transition to math wasn't exactly what he planned out.
The percussion instructor said you need to become a professional percussionist. I was like, that's not what I want to do, I want to teach. And she ultimately presented me with an ultimatum, said if you're going to stay in my studio, you need to be a performance major. And I said, no, I want to be a teacher.
Although it was a rough transition, Mr. Carter is very excited to be at ONW.
The students and the staff here at Olathe Northwest have been very, very cool to get to know, both as a student and that teacher relationship, and then also on a personal level has been really rewarding.
Mr. Carter just doesn't want to be at ONW when...
We were in school one day and like these giant spiders came and started attacking Northwest. Because I can handle spiders as long as they're not like bigger than me.
For ONW Now, this has been Ryan Atchison. Now back to the desk.
The Raven girls golf team placed third in the state this year. For one sophomore golfer, her passion for the sport started with her dad. Lena Satterin has the story.
Many students choose favorites when it comes to playing sports. Sophomore Abby Rist says she was introduced to her favorite sport, golf, through her dad.
My dad is a professional golfer, and he kind of pushed me towards golfing, and it's super fun, like watching all the professionals on TV, and just wanted to be like them.
I didn't start playing golf until this year because I didn't really think it was a sport for me, but my dad pushed me into doing it, and I have loved it.
Something we can do together, play together, something we can enjoy together.
I like getting better and seeing how you progress over time.
Abby has enjoyed her time in golf so far and tells us whether it's more mentally or physically challenging.
I think it's a little bit of both, but definitely mentally, because you have to be able to push yourself and strive to get better.
This has been Lena Satterin with e-Communications at Olathe Northwest, signing off.
Mr. Richardson, a math teacher here at Northwest, has an interesting hobby that many of us share. Riley Kramer and Roan Stanley have the story.
Along with teaching, Mr. Richardson spends much of his time on another talent.
I like taking pictures because it kind of just, I take a moment and I freeze it in time, and I like, if I find a really awesome scene, I just like capturing the moment and being able to show other people later on, or being able to remember it later on. And it's just, freezing time and saying, that's what I saw, that was the awesome thing that I saw right at that moment in time.
Much of his spare time outside of school goes toward his hobby that he's spent so long doing.
A lot of times when I go on vacation, I'll try to have in mind a really photogenic place. And I'll go for the pleasure of it, and I'll go also to have certain shots in mind, certain locations that are very photogenic in mind. And so it's a combination. When I go on vacation, when I go to travel, it's a combination of vacation and photography purpose in mind.
His photography adventures don't always put him into the safest places.
For me, I don't have any fears taking pictures, and that's probably a disadvantage because maybe someday I'll fall off a cliff because that's what my wife is afraid of. There's a couple of places in Utah where people have taken pictures of me taking a picture standing on the edge of a cliff. So taking a look at this idiot right here, and then they share that picture with me, and I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Standing on the edge of a cliff, I could get blown off of that.
For ONW Now, this has been Roan Stanley and Riley Kramer.
e-Comm's annual open house was held on November 17th to let 8th graders learn more about the academy. Val Cartwright has the highlights.
Now we'll send it over to Nick and Rosie for GameDay Northwest.
Hey everyone, welcome to GameDay Northwest. I'm Nick Lopez alongside Rosie Klausner.
This week we have preseason promos for men's and women's basketball and wrestling. Let's dribble it over to Cooper Kate and Roan Stanley for the men's basketball recap.
The Raven men's basketball team prepares to open their season with an optimistic outlook on how the year will go.
I think we did good. I think we have some things to improve on this year, and we have a lot of returning players and all of our starters.
Even with last year's struggles, the team sees the bright side and what is to come.
Last season wasn't the best season, but we were also really young. We only had one senior, and the rest of us were juniors and sophomores playing, going up against a lot of seniors, so it's kind of how people expected it to be.
With returning veterans coming back, talent is expected to be plenty.
Some of our strengths are we got a lot of talent on the team. We got a lot of good shooters, and we got some big people like Capital V over there.
Personal goals, win Olathe, shatter a backboard, win state.
Let's take it back to game day.
Thanks Cooper and Roan for the awesome recap of this upcoming season. Good luck to you all.
Now let's turn it to Nick and Will Vestal for the wrestling preseason recap.
Steve Mesa, head wrestling coach, returns 4 of 8 state qualifying wrestlers from last year's team.
As a team, hopefully we can place high, and just overall as a team, place high in state and league and regionals and whatnot.
Not only does Alex have high expectations for the team, he has high expectations for himself.
I mean, for me wise, I definitely could see myself with this qualifying for state. Ultimate goal is obviously to win state.
Ravens will still look to dominate this year on the mat. The team returns tonight at 7 in a duel against Turner High School. For Nick Lopez, I'm Will Vestal. Now back to the desk.
We hope to see you guys on your road to state.
Now, another promo. Ryan Atchison and Ben Blades present us the preseason promo for women's basketball.
To improve, to better the program, get our underclassmen comfortable playing at the varsity level, and win a state championship. Last year, I feel like we didn't have very good communication, and that's one of our big emphases this year is communication, so probably just that aspect of it. I think just adding a lot of the new people have athletic ability, so just using that once they feel comfortable, I think it'll be really useful.
Thanks, Ryan and Ben. Make sure you go out and support your fellow Ravens for this year's winter sports. That's all we have for game day. Now let's throw it back to Ryan and Victoria.
Winter sports are starting up. We'll show you the do's and don'ts.
Welcome, Ravens, to the do's and don'ts of the ONW student section. First and foremost, being on your phone, pager, and other electronic device is not permitted at sporting events. You and your friends are at a nice high school game. Don't be that girl or guy. ONW is not responsible for any destroyed or lost devices. When supporting the Ravens, enjoy the atmosphere and participate by showing pride in your school. When attending extracurricular activities, wear correct gear, depending on the theme. It is in your best interest to represent Olathe Northwest well and be an active member of the student section. There are over 2,000 students at ONW this year. Let's pack the house this winter season. Come out and have fun, Ravens. When in the student section, do not yell offensive or obscene things. Do not direct negative comments towards opposing teams. It is important to be respectful at games. Having said that, go nuts with spirit, Ravens. Participate in the cheers and activities that other parts of the student section are doing. We strive for unity in the ONW student section, and that means everyone participating, cough cough, underclassmen. Ravens, we hope you have a great winter season, and make sure to come out to as many Raven games, home and away, as possible.
For Ryan and the rest of the Convergence team, I'm Victoria Scarduzio. To wrap up this week's show, let's send it to Luke Volker for a recap of yesterday's first multi-school theater workshop. Have a great week, Ravens.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yesterday, the ONW Theater Department hosted their first Olathe District Thespian Festival.
An event where middle school and high schools all come to Olathe Northwest, and we all have skits or musical numbers prepared, and we all get together at the end and perform it.
Thespians from several Olathe high schools and middle schools came together to learn new skills.
We had workshops of different teachers from different colleges around the Kansas area.
The festival allowed these students to learn how to work together with people they may not know.
I got to meet a lot of new people and leaders in other schools and kind of see how they work and how they work with their friends and peers.
Bringing you this story, this has been Luke Volker. Have a great day, Northwest.